Good evening, ghosts and ghouls. Are you ready for some monster movie mayhem? Welcome to Chiller Night Theater. I am your host, Lord of Darkness and ruler of the underworld. I go by many names, but you may call me Jack Shadow. Tonight I feature the 1972 Italian horror film, Frankenstein 80. Now, many Frankenstein movies made that do not recap the original story usually feature an ancestor of the famous doctor. The new doctor then takes up the mantle of the original doctor, and the work continues with a new monster. But not tonight! No! Frankenstein 80 is its own story, as if the original tale had never been told, and Dr. Frankenstein was a man of present day, or at least as present as 1980. Now, what would the story be like set in a somewhat modern time? You're about to find out. Are you ready for another monster movie Saturday night? Then turn those lights down low. Every one of you! Hey, that means you! And you! Get those lights down! No cheating! Now get your popcorn and safety blanket and prepare yourself for Frankenstein 80.
This evening from Hamburg. In Franconia, the noted surgeon Rudolf Schwartz has completed all laboratory tests with his anti-lymphocytic serum. This serum is to prevent organ rejection after transplant operations. Professor Schwartz declares he's ready to use the serum on the first transplant case brought to him, Berlin.
lucky no one was with him.
He's got a chance.
Give me a hand with this stretcher, will you?
Now be careful how you move him. Easy, easy. Now let's get him to Dr. Swartz quickly.
Right.
All right, pick him up. Careful. Let's go.
Evening, Inspector.
What is it? Woman found murdered.
What have you brought in?
An accident case. The patient's ready, Dr. Schwartz.
Is it 8 o'clock tomorrow?
Right, Professor.
Carl, I'll be all right. Don't worry. I don't need anything. I must just wait.
I saw Professor Schwartz on my way in. You know he has a new serum he's developed, and if he could use it on you, everything would be all right. You hear that?
Oh, Carl, that would be wonderful. And everything will be all right?
Yes.
But what about your work? Doesn't the editor need you down at the paper, huh?
No problem. We never finish. I'm now a chief reporter. Crime news desk.
Well, let's have a look at our beautiful patient.
Oh, hello, Dr. Schwartz.
Hello, Doctor.
How are you feeling?
Quite well, Professor. Very well. I don't feel ill, not sick at all.
Why, that's first rate. Well, I've got some news for you. We found a donor.
Professor, when? When can you do it?
Now. We have to. My assistants are here to prepare you. In no time at all, you'll be able to say you've never been sick.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Shern. I wanted to tell you, the donor was just killed in a car accident. The wife has given me permission to take the heart. All the preoperative tests are nearly finished.
I see. My sister is in your hands, Professor. The best.
My poor hands can do a lot, but they can't perform miracles.
Are you telling me there's a chance she might not survive the operation?
Chances for your sister to live without the transplant are very few. I don't doubt but what she'll be quite able to survive the surgery. But that's not the problem. The problem comes after.
You mean probable rejection of the heart?
Yes, we have to operate on two people genetically different. It's not the same as with members of the same family. But perhaps we might avoid this danger. We do have a chance.
With this new serum you've recently discovered?
Yes. My discovery has proven we can modify the morphological picture and avoid rejection. I've had excellent results on animals in all my laboratory experiments. And now I will be able to prove it for the first time on a human being, Mr. Schoen. Your sister. Just sign this authorization. I need your permission.
Professor, you have your authorization.
You're performing a duty to mankind. Huh. Here it is, the Schwartz serum. It's the only bottle of anti-lymphocytic serum existing in the whole world.
Be a little too late for the liver. But I've got to try. I think if I increase the concentration in the BPS, now the gullet.
apart from Fritz, no one has access to this room but myself. The serum was stolen. Years. Work of a lifetime. Gone.
And my sister's dead.
We did all we could with the usual treatment.
And without the operation, she would have died. I know that. But I can't help thinking the serum could have kept the heart from being rejected.
At least if we'd had it, it might have slowed down the process.
Professor Schwartz, I've got to find out who stole it.
If that's what you want, I can authorize you to go about it any way you feel. You have my permission to question anybody in the hospital. Is that all right?
Yes, Professor. And I'll find who did it, you can be sure.
Good luck.
You want something, sir? I'm working on the Schwartz serum case. The night it was stolen, who was on duty?
I don't know.
Where can I find out?
In the personnel office.
Thank you. Doctor, who's in charge of records on this floor?
I really don't know. Why don't you ask the nurse in there?
I'm sorry, it's not visiting hours.
I want some information. Dr. Schwartz has authorized me to make an inquiry.
I'm Fritz, his special nurse.
Yes. Yes, I know. I would like to ask about something that involves the professor. The serum, I mean.
Oh, yes. Poor Professor Schwartz. His whole life's been the serum, now it's been stolen. We informed the police about it yesterday.
Well, is there anything you can tell me?
In what way can I help you?
All right, then. Fritz, could you tell me, who could be wanting to steal a serum that's only for making transplants?
Nobody ought to have been. It had never yet been tested on human beings. I already told the police that. There was one thing peculiar, I thought.
Oh?
There was this smell, an odor.
A smell?
I didn't tell this to the police, but maybe it could be useful. Yet, on the other hand, it could be nothing.
Let me be the judge of that. I'm trying to help the professor and find out who stole it for the future of transplant operations. What was the peculiar smell?
Aldehyde of formic acid, HCHO.
HCHO. Formalin?
Yes, formalin.
What's peculiar about the smell of formaldehyde?
Normally nothing, but I smelled it around the professor's refrigerator, and there's no reason for the odor of formaldehyde to be in there. I'm sure of that.
And so?
Formaldehyde is a substance used to preserve specimens in dead bodies. It's a smell that you always find around anatomy laboratories. And morgues, too.
What do you mean?
I don't mean anything, except there is no reason for that odor to be in Professor Schwartz's private study. It's just not usual.
I see. Thank you, Fritz. Here's my card. You can reach me through the office at any time if you think of something else. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've met some of our characters so far. There's Carl, Carl's sister, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Otto Frankenstein, and of course the monster. Now, unfortunately, Carl's sister didn't survive her surgical procedure because someone stole the amazing Schwartz serum. Now, the serum is a one-of-a-kind medical wonder, a true scientific miracle, which makes people's systems more prone to accepting another's genetics. Yes, indeed, this one-of-a-kind chemical solution, the only bottle in the entire world of this incredibly valuable medical wonder, is kept unlocked and unsecured in Dr. Schwartz's office refrigerator. Well, that's not too smart, and didn't benefit anyone, except for Dr. Frankenstein. Now we'll soon see how the evil doctor uses the Schwartz serum to help with his experiments, piecing body parts together to create the living from the dead. Now let's return to Frankenstein 80.
Oh, good evening, sir. What can I give you? Some good stew meat? Oh, some liver. I'll get it for you. What are you doing? Do you take your hands off of me? Oh, what? Go away!
And what's written here? Have you read what's written here?
Mm-hmm.
It's all perfectly correct, huh?
I think so.
My name is Inspector Arnold Schneider. Not Inspector Arnold Schneider. My name is written with an A, not an O. An A, do you understand? What idiot typed this report?
The idiot's me.
That was a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question never requires an answer. Don't you even know that? Here, take this and proofread it. I've got an even temper. And even when things go wrong, like this, Strauss, I keep calm. And now for you two. Anything new in the murdered women?
Here's the coroner's report on this.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
Well, the first had been strangled, the weapon a steel wire. The body had been opened with a lancet and the liver taken out. Though he used the lancet, the killer's not a doctor. His cuts are like an amateur's.
What about the lancet?
Normal lancet, Chief. We are trying to find the manufacturers.
Well, try to find them quick, will you?
Yes, sir.
Got to quiet my nerves.
I've got the light for you, Chief.
There's no smoking. Not in this office. No one, do you hear? Not until we've solved these murders. Orders.
Orders.
One, I want to know who the manufacturer was of that lancet and who it was sold to. Two, I want the hematological examination of the blood spots on the lancet and the blood spots on the ground, so we can find out if they came from one and the same person. Three, I want to get more information on that shopping bag found in the vicinity of the woman cut up by that lancet. Four, a complete life story of the victims. And five, I want to know what was said in interrogation by the first woman to discover the cut-up corpse, and no one's told me, damn it! Think of my ulcers!
lowering of blood glucose level, with figures well below 35/100%, 30 minutes after removal of liver. Pancreatic stasis, but no change in serum amylase. Hematocrit diminishing rapidly. Check on right gonad transplant. Perfect integration of graft. Sexual potency increased. Left gonad, incipient rejection. Liver, incipient rejection. Stop, Mosaic. Listen. If you don't behave, I shall destroy you the same as I've made you. You've got to stop killing. I'm the one that'll get you the organs you need. What do you know about such things? You must obey me, Mosaic. I made you. I'll perfect you. I've stolen Dr. Schwartz's serum for you, and if it works, you'll need no more transplants. So be patient, you hear?
Today, the 30th of March, I observe the almost total absorption of the transplanted liver. I interrupt the flow of the portal and the inferior cava. Venous pressure in the portal will shortly go over 60 millimeters H2O. Drainage functioning well. Hydrocortisone in glucose infusion. Adequate to need. Electrocardiogram valid. Encephalogram, waves present. I begin the transplant. Anastomosis of suprahepatic veins to cava, sutured with atraumatic thread. Preparatory dissection of scrotum. I begin the testicle transplant. Ligaments sutured. And now I shall perform an action that will be a milestone in medical history. The first experiment with Professor Rudolf Schwartz's anti-lymphocytic serum for the prevention of transplant rejects in human beings.
Good evening.
I'd like to talk to Dr. Frankenstein.
My uncle's not in now. If you'd like to leave a message, I'll see that he gets it.
I'm sorry to disturb you, miss, but I'm a reporter. My name is Carl Schern. If you'll tell me when I'll find him in, I'll come back.
He'll be here tomorrow at 10.
Then I'll be sure to come back tomorrow morning.
Fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Evening.
Evening.
Hello. What are you doing all alone? Hey! Son of a bitch. What's the matter with you? Are you made up for Halloween? Oh. Leave me alone, you bum. Oh, wait.
Hi, handsome.
Hey.
Why don't you come with me? I'll be good to you, baby. You're not feeling very talkative, are you? My place is over there. Come. Ah, you're a big boy. You may have a limp when you walk, but I bet you don't have one in bed. Go on in. You like it?
Things are a little slow around here tonight. Business is not so hot. How are things going with you?
Hello, miss. You haven't seen a man in a big hat and leather coat, have you? Tall, with a limp? Hmm?
Yeah, I saw that crip. He went off with a friend of mine down there.
That way?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Say, by the way, have you seen my boyfriend? Here he's been roaming around with another...
Hey, stop! You hear me?
I knew where I'd find you. When I saw you taking my money, I knew you wanted a woman. You must stop this killing. We've got to get out of here. Hurry up now. The car's over there. Move. Schneider? Yeah. What? The two sets of fingerprints on one hand? It's impossible. Come in!
Chief, we got the lineup going on, but that blonde hooker still can't identify that man she was running away from.
And just to make things better, there was a distinguished gentleman who was also looking for this brute that night, Inspector. What a load of crap. Pardon.
You're right. It's exactly that. You want to hear what fingerprints just said about the lancet that was used for that first murder? The fingerprints you found on that pretty little lancet correspond exactly to the fingerprints that were found in the horse place.
Great, Chief. Well, that's a step forward. We're getting there.
No! It's a step backward. The fingerprints on that bloody lancet are two kinds. Two on the very same hand.
But, oh, Chief, no.
The murder of the shopping bag woman was executed with a lancet that had two sets of fingerprints on it. I mean the fingerprints of two different people belonging to one and the same hand. One prostitute refuses to go with an ugly bastard who goes off with another. And then in this gal's room, the identical fingerprints turn up once more. And now we hear that there was a distinguished gentleman out there looking for that same ugly son of a bitch to confuse things. It's bad for the ulcer. Come in! I see that the murder of this prostitute is getting a big play in the papers. I only wish a reporter could be more useful.
How are you enjoying the movie so far? Kind of a different take on the Frankenstein story, eh? With so many adaptations, what's your favorite version? Write and let me know. As far as my choice, I'm always partial to Universal's 1931 movie, accompanied with the 1935 classic Bride of Frankenstein. Next to those, my favorite set of Frankenstein movies are the Hammer horror film versions, most of which starred Peter Cushing as Dr. Frankenstein, and even had David Prowse play the monster. Have you ever seen this diabolical duo together as villains in another movie? I'm sure you have. How about this one? That's right, Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader. Pretty neat bit of information, I think. Now more about tonight's movie. The actor playing Dr. Otto Frankenstein, Gordon Mitchell, was a bodybuilder and well-known strongman actor in Hollywood. He fancied show business and appeared in movies such as the 1956 classic The Ten Commandments and the 1959 Lil Abner. Mitchell was an American actor and didn't speak Italian, but starred in numerous Italian films over the years. Speaking of Italian films, Mitchell also did an onslaught of spaghetti western films. He starred in over 100 movies over the course of his career. That's a pretty good run, I'd say. You know, another interesting fact about Mitchell was that he served in the army in World War II, and at one point even became a prisoner of war. Tough guy. Very tough guy. After the war, he went to college and became a high school teacher, of all things. Can you imagine this guy as your school teacher? I bet you wouldn't want to goof off in his class. Pretty imposing looking guy. Good choice to play Dr. Frankenstein, I think. Now let's get back to Gordon Mitchell's Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein 80.
The police are still in complete darkness. People are asking what's happening. A wild killer, a maniac, perhaps, at this very moment.
Telegram for you.
sit down. Now listen to me carefully. There are many scattered pieces concerning this puzzle. And if we're going to try to understand it, this mosaic, we've got to put them together piece by piece. Now listen to me. A special anti-lymphocytic serum has been stolen. I feel sure it all begins from here. B, formaldehyde is smelled where the serum was stolen. C, a woman is strangled with steel thread. D, a surgeon's knife, a lancet, is used by someone who is not a surgeon. E, fingerprints A and B on the lancet. Two completely different sets of fingerprints. Two murderers. One of them inserts the lancet, one of them cuts. That's not probable. F, a whore raped and strangled in her house. G, here we also find fingerprints A and B.
There's a reporter out here to see you. His name is Schön.
Send him away, quick.
Maybe you should see him. He says it's important.
I don't want to see any reporters. Send him away.
You better not try to avoid me, Inspector. I think I can help you with all those crimes.
Oh, you can you? In what way?
First, I want to talk about that serum. I think the murders are connected to the theft.
Evening, Strauss. Hi. How's the boss? Talking over new ideas with someone.
You mean the boss has some ideas?
No new ones lately. But if he doesn't get this solved, nobody's gonna smoke.
We just go on with the lineup then.
I guess so. You better get back.
Check.
Come in. This is Strauss, my top man. Now, why don't you ask him the question that you just put to me?
I want to know if you smelled formaldehyde in the prostitute's bedroom.
Formaldehyde? Come to think of it, I do remember smelling formaldehyde.
Well, I recognize the smell right away. I may be wrong, but this might be the most important clue. I'm glad you came, Schön.
It's good for my complexion.
Oh, yes, of course.
Hello there.
Is your uncle in?
He's not, but I'm expecting him soon. Would you like to come inside and wait?
Thanks.
Won't you have a seat? Is there anything I can do to help you?
It's necessary I talk to your uncle.
To tell you the truth, he's not actually my uncle, you see. He's my guardian, and he brought me up. In fact, he brought me into this world. He's been like a father since my parents died.
He must be very kind.
Might I give you any information you need?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm after technical information.
I'm studying medicine, in case you'd like to know. I'm not an MD yet, but I'm preparing all my finals.
It's beautiful, but it's transplants I'm interested in.
Are you doing an article on them?
I want to find out why some organs are rejected after a transplant.
If you're writing on Dr. Barnard, my uncle has lots of books in his library on the subject, and you can use them if you wish.
That's strange. I should think that the work of an anatomist would have nothing to do with transplants.
It's not so strange. My Uncle Otto was once a surgeon, but there was an accident, you see.
Forgive me, miss. What accident?
Sonia's what everyone else calls me.
All right, Sonia. So tell me, what accident?
Oh, a politician's wife he was operating on who died. That ruined his career. Now he's pathological anatomist at the hospital, works only on cadavers, with no risk. Yet he's so changed. He's not the way he was.
Tell me about transplants, doctor.
They're nothing. They began with Dr. Barnard's work, but today they're commonplace throughout the world. The most important facet of this operation is the danger
of the possible rejection, which could be solved by the new serum.
But why talk of sad things like that? Medicine's full of cheerful subjects, not just organ transplanting. And just to give you an example, I'm studying to be a pediatrician.
You are? Oh, yes. I like children very much. And do you like reporters?
They're not nosy.
I'm not too nosy.
I will drink to that.
To the future children of the world. Thanks, Sonia.
It's nothing.
The police have discovered that lancet that the murderer used.
You mean on that woman we read about in the papers?
Yes. They've also discovered it was sold to this hospital, and they want to know to whom it was assigned.
Do you know?
To you? I've personally checked the inventory.
Have you told the police about it?
No. I wanted to tell you first.
I've many of them. Maybe someone stole one.
Dr. Frankenstein. The question is to find out who stole it. It may very well be the same one who stole my serum.
First, I don't know what it is.
It came from here.
It could come from anywhere.
What's behind this bookcase?
I have a private lab.
Hmm? A private lab?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it.
Right you are. Boy, I'll give you something to stop your pain. There. Get on the bed. Come on. Today, I perform the eye transplants. Donor, Professor Rudolf Schwartz. Slight disparity in size between the donated organs and the recipient's orbital cavities. Come in.
Excuse me, Dr. Frankenstein.
What do you want?
Have you seen Professor Schwartz?
Why, look here.
Because he said he was coming to speak to you about something.
Maybe he changed his mind.
Excuse me if I disturbed you.
You didn't. In a few days, we'll take the bandages off. Do you hear me? There's a little job to do for me and for you. Fritz, that male nurse in surgery, has become a bit suspicious. And so, when I tell you to go over to his ward and get him, you hear me? Hmm?
Richter, a male nurse is not a pack of cigarettes. He's bound to be in there somewhere.
Right.
So find him. And listen.
What's happened, Inspector?
Huh? Oh, it's you. Always on the spot. It's that nurse of Schwartz who's disappeared.
You mean Fritz?
Yeah. You know him?
I spoke to him once. He was the one who gave me the clue on the formaldehyde. How did he disappear?
A big, ugly brute dragged him away, according to a patient.
A patient?
And he wasn't dreaming. We found a piece of gauze that had been soaked with ether. It's clear that he was knocked out with it, then dragged away. And what's more, Professor Schwartz hasn't come back.
Damn it. I wanted to talk to him. Come with me, Inspector.
Where to?
Over to the house of Dr. Frankenstein, the hospital pathologist. I'll explain it to you later.
Okay, lead the way. Good evening, miss.
Hello, Sonia. Forgive the late hour. Is your uncle in?
I got to speak to him urgently. I'm Captain Schneider, police investigator.
He's not here. Would you like to wait inside?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Not at all, Inspector.
The blood transfusion is going perfectly. It will be continued until complete
Substitution of the blood. The crisis is past.
Oh, Uncle Otto, there's some gentlemen here to see you.
Good evening. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Schneider, head of police investigation, and this is the reporter. It's a strange thing. You know Schwartz's male nurse, don't you? Well, he's disappeared.
And Professor Schwartz hasn't shown up either.
They disappeared, both. I've been so busy working, I didn't hear about it.
Tell me, Dr. Frankenstein, do you recall the last time you saw either one of them?
I've seen neither one nor the other. I've been working late in my office, even tonight. Forgive me.
Why don't you go sit down? I'll fix a drink for you.
We have to be on our way. Thank you very much, miss.
Don't worry.
Good night, Inspector.
Good night, miss.
Good night, Carl.
He said he'd been working late in his office every single night.
I'm afraid that's not true. I was over there tonight.
What for?
I was making an unofficial investigation.
What were you looking for?
I was simply following up an idea of mine.
But you didn't find anything?
No, nothing. And he wasn't in the anatomy stiff room either. I looked.
Will you please tell me what you're driving at?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'll call you later.
The finger transplants have had no negative reactions, even though the fingers came from two entirely different subjects.
Incredible. To think he used his knowledge of medicine to create a monster. Incredible. He's made a man from other people.
You must obey me, Mosaic. I made you. I'll perfect you. I've stolen Dr. Schwartz's serum for you, and if it works, you'll need no more transplants.
Here are the proofs you wanted.
Thank you. Now sit down there.
Oh, no. No more horror stories for me.
Rudolf Schwartz, famous surgeon, is missing. Has a strawberry birthmark on his chest. A strawberry birthmark on his chest. On his chest. His chest. Get me Inspector Schneider. Inspector, it's me, Carl. I've got some new information. I practically have a complete confession on my desk here. It's almost unbelievable, I tell you. Yes, I'll be over at once.
That's the smell.
The one around Schwartz's refrigerator. Chief, there must be a secret door here.
Hold this. Get in. Well, I'll be damned. Search every nook and cranny.
Uncle Otto! Oh, it's horrible.
It's all right. Mosaic. Don't touch her. No. Sonia, go in there and lock the door.
Mosaic! Come away from that door!
Let go. Get your hands off of me and listen. Mosaic, you've now attacked me and I shall have to destroy you.
Sonia.
Come on.
I won't even have to kill you. Your brain is already disintegrating. Mosaic, what are you doing? No! Stop! Stop, Mosaic! Listen! You need me! I made you! You hear? I made you! You can't kill me! Ah!
Monsters at Frankenstein's house?
Yes.
Carl!
Sonia. Sonia.
Carl! Uncle...
Come on, come on.
My God in Himmel! Chief, you better look in there.
We're too late.
As mentioned in my opening, Frankenstein 80 was released in Italy in 1972. The 80 in the title is no doubt to give it some type of futuristic quality to its name. I mean, future equates to quality to most, right? I mean, remember when everyone was doing that with 2000? The Super Lawnmower 2000, the Incredible Can Opener 2000, the Ultra Pliers 2000, or take your product and take your pick. I mean, it's obviously meant to convince you that it's had some superior, never-before-seen quality that sets itself higher than the rest at the time. I wouldn't call tonight's movie a superior version of Frankenstein's story, but it does have an interesting take on it. I mean, from the time it was filmed in the early 70s, it does take place in the future, in 1980. You know, when technology, science, and medical wonders would have reached their pinnacle. Well, the filmmakers must not have envisioned the future as being too bright. I mean, the movie is dark, bleak, and pretty gory, among other things. And while this may be well and suitable to myself and my monstrous hosts of ghosts and ghouls at Castle Shadow, I would not recommend watching an unedited version of this film in a family setting. I've chopped and hacked away at quite a bit of this to show it here tonight, so let's chop and hack our way to the end of the film as we return to the conclusion to Frankenstein 80.
The finger transplants have had no negative reactions, even though the fingers came from two entirely different subjects.
So that's the reason why the murderer had 2 sets of fingerprints.
Today, we're beginning to see signs of the rejection of the internal organs. Gonad, rejected after 30 days. Eyes, retina detaching. A total substitution of blood will be necessary.
We have still other tapes.
We don't have to listen to them. Now what's important is capturing that monster.
Or maybe a man. Because he's not a monster. He's a poor human creature who's made up of pieces through a technique we'll never be able to discover.
The real monster's that Dr. Frankenstein. Oh, sorry.
But from what we've gathered from the tapes, we have the answer. There are 36 to 48 hours before the monster, as you call him, will die of rejection of the brain.
We'd better swear out a warrant for his arrest.
Whose arrest? How can anyone swear out an arrest warrant against someone who doesn't even have a name? All we can do is to keep every man on his toes until the bloody creature dies. And 48 hours without a smoke.
And he'll go on killing. Whenever he feels he's cornered, like a trapped animal.
The poor thing can't help killing, and nobody will know where he might attack them.
It shows us how science can be fully irresponsible. The worst monster in history.
I hope we meet. Schneider speaking. You hear me, Strauss?
This is Strauss here, boss. We're patrolling the edges of sectors 6, 7, and 8 like you said. Nothing new's cooking.
All right. Schneider calling headquarters.
Receiving you. Come in, Chief.
Anything new?
Yes, Chief. A stripper's been found murdered over at the Winter Garden.
Okay, I'll go right over. Schneider here.
Yes, Chief.
Get moving with that racetrack murder. I want the latest on the idents of those fingerprints.
Right, Chief.
Charles, go to Sector 6. Sonia, it's Carl. Have you read the papers? I'm concerned. You shouldn't be alone. No, I'm rather busy. I can't get away now. Take a taxi and meet me here. Yes, of course. We'll eat out. Bye, darling. Bye.
The hunt for the monster is still going on. The murder of the exotic dancer, of the vagabond found in the car dump, and the murder that we have learned that just happened in the toilet at today's International Grand Prix are the work of the same monster. The police request all citizens to be very careful and to report anything suspicious. And now.
Carl, what'll we do now?
You just have to wait. Nothing else to do. I'm in constant touch with Schneider. He says just wait and be patient.
Oh, Carl, I wish all this were over.
Headquarters. Come in, Chief.
Have you got any new leads on the nightclub investigation?
Nothing, Chief. The men are there. What do they do now?
Stay there.
The chief says no one's going home, so pleasant dreams.
A couple have been attacked by a monster in Park Woods.
Charlie, send an ambulance and go over to Park Woods. Chief and I are both going there.
Hey, Willie, we gotta comb these woods inch by inch. He can't have gotten very far.
Yes, sir.
And Metzger, get moving. What do you know? Here comes Hemingway. Carl. Hey, Carl. There's no reason for you to be here. We'll take care of things. Hey, Strauss! Carl, there's not much to worry about, you know. The monster's time is getting short.
Yes, you're right. The 48 hours for the brain reject are almost up.
So where are you going?
I'm going back to the house. Sonia's waiting for me. I don't want her to have to worry.
Right, Turk.
Sonia.
Carl. Oh, thank God. How about a drink for the both of us?
All right.
Run for it!
Inspector Schneider, Strauss and car number 7 calling.
Schneider here, come in.
I'm going over to Feldefingstrasse, number 9. A suspicious-looking character was seen there.
What's his description?
It was reported that he wore a big hat and a long coat. I don't know, but it could be our man there.
9? Why, that's the house of Carl Schön. Get over there on the double. I'll meet you there. Tell 12 and 4 to get their cars there as fast as they can. I'll inform headquarters. Schneider to headquarters. Get all the men over to Felderfingstrasse and block all traffic there. Get a move on, Hartmut. Carl, thank God. The people across the street called us. We got here as quick as we could.
It's all over, Inspector.
You'd make a great cop, Carl.
I've got the light for you, Chief.
And thus falls another monster created by an evil Dr. Frankenstein. Speaking of which, did you happen to notice that maybe this guy has a diabolical twin somewhere out there? Maybe a galaxy far, far away? Okay, maybe it's just me who sees the similarity. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the movie tonight. Now tune in next week as I feature the 1959 horror film titled The Manster. Now it's a man who turns into a monster. Manster. See what they did there? Okay. Well, tune in next week, so don't miss it. And until then, I bid you adieu, my children of the night.
How many times do I have to tell you, just because something isn't good doesn't mean it's bad?